we've seen this week that people are still very concerned about teenage thuggery, juvenile yobs.
Gangsters,
yes. But it's not just young conservatives that people are worried about. It's the whole idea of teenage crime. Now, George Parr, you are the director of the Penal Policy Research
Institute.
Yes. And you've been advising Michael Howard, the Home Secretary, on punishment for teenage crime, for youth crime.
Yes.
And I gather that you have suggested, and he is putting into the criminal justice bill, in fact it's going to be next year, they're going to start, these prisons, as it were, these, what they call secure training units?
Secure training units,
for under 14.
Under 14-year-olds.
Yes. Now, are you connected, is your institute connected with the Conservative Party?
Oh, by no means. No, we're completely independent.
All right.
We enjoy some funding from an American company that's been long experienced in the field of the private administration of child's prisons.
Yes.
Chains are us. And they've been tremendously helpful, but we're completely politically neutral.
Yes, I see. And so, but this is an argument, really, isn't it, between, as it were, care and punishment.
Absolutely.
I mean, care on the one hand, meaning nurturing.
Meaning rehabilitation, some kind of psychotherapeutic method of making children better. And
punishment, on the other hand, meaning...
Meaning punishment.
Meaning punishment. Yes. So, just outline these plans.
Well, as Mr. Howard has said, policy in this area has been in the hands for far too long, a kind of woolly-minded, do-gooding minority.
Yes.
And it's time we had a change for that.
Yes.
So
you're not a do-gooder.
No, certainly not.
You're a do-badder, are you?
Well, in that sense, yes.
And is this entirely just an academic viewpoint?
Not at all, because young people committing appalling offences up and down the land touches us all.
Yes. Well, I can see you're touched.
I am.
So you are personally affected, are you?
Yes, and I've had terrible personal experience in this area. Yes, my son Toby was sent to a secure unit.
Really? And did he benefit from this?
Not at all. No. He was forced to mix with the dregs of society.
Yeah.
Violence, drug taking, homosexuality. And so we decided in the end to take him out of Harrow. And he's gone to work on his own.
Yes.
Although, of course, sending him to Harrow was a great deal cheaper than sending him to prison.
Of course, yes. The fees are less, aren't
Much
they?
less.
Yes.
But on the other hand, when you leave prison, you're not automatically offered a job in the city.
No. Not unless you had a job in the city before you went to prison. There's a school of thought which would be you regard as woolly-minded, which would suggest that the way to deal with these young people is actually for them to be nurtured properly, parented
from a very early age,
in the first months of their life, first year of their life.
But I think that's ridiculous, don't you?
Well,
I mean, have you ever met a victim of a mugging by a 6-month-old baby?
No.
It
might prevent them becoming criminals.
No. We live in the real world. Let's call a spade a spade. These young people are no better than animals. And as such, they should be treated like animals.
Yes.
I mean, let me give you an illustration. If you're in the jungle, say, and a lion jumps out on you, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to say, why not go somewhere on safari?
Well, no, you wouldn't say that. Well, of course, he is already on safari.
Or would you say, listen, lion, let's sit down and talk about your early childhood. Did your lioness mother parent you badly as a little cub?
No, you wouldn't say that.
You'd be mad to say that. No, what you do is you take your rifle and you shoot him.
Yes, I see that.
So
yes, and that, of course, then afterwards, what would happen?
Well, then the lion can be turned into some socially acceptable and even decorative object, like a rug.
Yes, well, I don't think we can push this analogy too far, can we? I mean, there are very few people who would want the skin of some pimply adolescent with tattoos and hypodermic needle marks stretched out in front of their blazing logs.
Well, I certainly wouldn't.
No, neither would I. But they're saying that, in fact, you're saying that by the time these children get to sort of 16 years old, it's too late to deal with them in a sort of humane way.
Much too late. And who's to blame for that? I mean, honestly, it can't be a coincidence, can it, that these 15 and 16-year-olds have had 15 or 16 years since the last Labour government.
Yes, I see.
If anybody was going to do something about it...
Can we just... Yes, I understand that. Can we just get on to these secure units, secure training units that are going to be set up?
Of course.
The first one is going to be open next year.
Yes.
Now, how many... There are going to be 5 of them,
There are going to be 5.
And how many young people are going to be in them?
There are going to be 40 young people under the age of 14 in each of the 5 units.
Yes, so there are going to be, in other words, 200 young people throughout the whole country. 200
of the very worst children in the land.
Yes, and of course there already are residential units operated by local authorities, and they cost around, I think the maximum is about £39,000 per inmate.
Quite.
What about your secure units?
Well, the cost in the secure training units for each individual will be £150,000 a year.
£150,000 a year
yes.
for each one?
For each one.
And you'll have 200?
That's right.
Now, the last statistics we had was that the number of children under 14 who have been convicted or cautioned for indictable offences was, I think, 32,200.
32,200, yes.
And you'll be dealing with 200 of them. So there'll be, at a rough estimate, 32,000 left.
That we haven't.
It means that you have to choose the right 200, don't you, to put in staff?
Well, that's absolutely vital. Yes, we must be sure.
These are going to be the most specific, the really nastiest, the most violent, the most... And how are you going to select them?
Well, I think it's going to be self-selecting, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be such a social piece of prestige for these 200 people to think they are...
They're going to think they're the worst possible young
people. The very hardest, worst cases.
Yeah. So they'll want to get in there.
They'll be fighting to get in.
Yes. Also, yes. There'll be a great peer group prestige for them.
Absolutely. And even a waiting list.
Well, like the MCC, right?
Very much like the MCC, yes. With a different sort of tie.
Yes, quite, yes. And so the other thing, of course, is that from experience that we've had of having young people in custody, it does affect some of them very badly. I mean, we've had 19, I think, in 1 year, 19 suicides amongst young people who've been kept in custody.
Well, that's a start, isn't it? I mean, it's also proof, if proof were needed, that this type of austere regime really works. That these young people have decided, well, all right, now I'm going to vote with my pyjama cord.
Yes, and of course, if there are 19 that do commit suicide, that would save you quite a lot of money, £150,000 of that would save you £3 million.
Of taxpayers' money.
Exactly, yes.
Yes.
And of course there have been 19 places left open now for...
From the second division to move up.
To move up. And if this doesn't work, I mean, it's very unlikely, but if it doesn't work, do you have any other policies?
Well, there are some more radical plans. We are thinking of adopting some ideas from our colleagues in Brazil.
Yes.
There's a very, very interesting Institute of Social Policy in Rio de Janeiro, the Black Hand Death Squad Institute, and they've done a very interesting and illuminating study of the proportion of young people between the ages of 10 and 14 who reoffend after they've been shot.
What results have they?
It's very, very encouraging. Very, very few. Almost none of these young people reoffend.
But you're not suggesting that our police should go around shooting...
oh, absolutely not. That's out of the question. No, I think it's absolutely essential that we keep this in the private sector.
So you'll have private firms going around...
Private firms, because part of the peace dividend in Northern Ireland means that soon there is going to be an enormous number of people who are extremely well-versed and experienced in violence,
people. Yes.
who will be on the labour market.
The IRA and the provisional
I was thinking more of the SAS and the parachute rig. Yes, I suppose if they don't come up to scratch, then that would be a good idea.
Well, it's very interesting. Thank you very much, George Parr, for coming to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.